America, a young nation, full of promise, brimming with potential and hope for a brighter future. But a dark secret lurked beneath the surface, the issue of slavery, a shadow that cast a long and ominous pall over the land. A moral stain, a festering wound that refused to heal, threatening the very fabric of the nation. The South, clinging to its agrarian way of life, relied heavily on enslaved people to sustain its economy and culture. Cotton was king, and the peculiar institution was its backbone, driving the Southern economy and way of life. The North, with its bustling factories and growing industries, saw slavery as a moral abomination, a blight on the nation's conscience. From the very beginning, the Founding Fathers struggled to reconcile these differences, debating fiercely over the future of the nation. The Constitution, a document designed to unite, contained compromises that only postponed the inevitable clash. Each side viewed the other with suspicion, their differences growing more pronounced with each passing year. Each side believed its way of life was under threat. The Missouri Compromise, the Fugitive Slave Act, and other legislative attempts like the Kansas-Nebraska Act, each attempt to find a solution only deepened the divide, making reconciliation seem ever more distant. The nation teetered on a precipice, the tension palpable in every corner of the country. The question wasn't if the storm would come, but when. The seeds of discord had been sown, and the harvest of conflict was inevitable. In the North, a powerful voice arose. Abolitionists, fueled by moral conviction, demanded an end to slavery. Frederick Douglass, a former enslaved man, spoke with eloquence and power. Harriet Tubman, conductor of the Underground Railroad, risked her life to guide others to freedom. Their words ignited a firestorm. The South saw these abolitionists as a threat to their way of life. Tensions escalated with every escaped enslaved person, every fiery speech, every publication. The country was a powder keg, waiting for a spark. The Dred Scott decision in 1857 sent shockwaves through the nation. The Supreme Court ruled that black people, whether free or enslaved, were not citizens. Outrage swept the North. Hope for a peaceful resolution dwindled. April 12, 1861, Fort Sumter, South Carolina. The first shots of the Civil War echoed across the water. Confederate cannons roared, bombarding the Union fort. The nation watched in disbelief as brother turned against brother. The fragile peace was shattered. The Confederacy, a collection of Southern states that seceded from the Union, was determined to preserve its way of life, even at the cost of war. The Union, led by the newly elected President Abraham Lincoln, was equally determined to preserve the nation. What began as a conflict over slavery had transformed into a fight for the very soul of America. Would it survive as one nation, indivisible, or would it be torn apart by the forces of division? The Union, with its industrial might and vast resources, seemed to have the advantage. The Confederacy, relying on its agricultural economy and the fighting spirit of its people, was determined to prove the North wrong. In the North, factories churned out weapons and supplies. Railroads transported troops and equipment. In the South, women took on the roles of men, managing farms and plantations. Children grew up too fast, witnessing the horrors of war firsthand. On both sides, young men marched off to war, full of idealism and fear. They believed in their cause, in their leaders, in the righteousness of their fight. Little did they know the horrors that awaited them. Section 5. To Gettysburg, 3 days that defined a nation. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, July 1st to 3rd, 1863. A small town forever etched in history. The fate of a nation hung in the balance as two armies clashed in a brutal battle. Pickett's charge. A desperate gamble, a wave of Confederate soldiers charging across an open field. Union cannons roared, tearing through their ranks. The ground ran red with blood, the air thick with smoke and the cries of the wounded. Gettysburg was a turning point. The Confederacy, bloodied and broken, would never fully recover. The Union, though victorious, had paid a terrible price. The human cost of war, etched on the faces of the survivors, served as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. Section 6. Lincoln's resolve. Guiding a nation through storm, Abraham Lincoln, a man of quiet dignity, thrust into the fires of leadership. He bore the weight of a nation on his shoulders. He saw the war not just as a fight to preserve the Union, but as a struggle for the soul of America. He wrestled with the moral complexities of slavery, with the immense loss of life, With the burden of command, he penned the Emancipation Proclamation, a beacon of hope for enslaved people in the South. He spoke at Gettysburg, his words echoing through time, a testament to the enduring power of unity. Lincoln, the lawyer from Illinois, became a wartime leader of extraordinary vision and compassion. He held the nation together, guiding it through its darkest hour. Section 7, Emancipation Proclamation, a beacon of hope, January 1st, 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation. With the stroke of a pen, Lincoln changed the course of the war. His signature on the Emancipation Proclamation was not just an act of political strategy, but a profound statement of human rights and dignity. He declared that all enslaved people in Confederate territory shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free. This declaration sent ripples of hope through the hearts of millions who had long suffered under the yoke of slavery. The proclamation was a military tactic aimed at weakening the Confederacy. By undermining the labor force that sustained the Southern war effort, Lincoln sought to tilt the balance in favor of the Union. But it was also a moral victory, a blow against the institution of slavery. Abolitionists rejoiced, seeing it as a significant step towards the ultimate goal of ending slavery in America. It gave the war a new moral clarity, a higher purpose. The fight was no longer just about preserving the Union, but about creating a nation where freedom and equality were fundamental principles. Black soldiers, inspired by the promise of freedom, flocked to the Union cause. They saw in the Union's fight a chance to secure their own liberty and the liberty of their families. They fought with valor and distinction, proving their worth on battlefields across the nation. Their bravery and sacrifice were instrumental in the Union's eventual victory. The Emancipation Proclamation was a turning point, a promise that the America reborn from the ashes of war would be a more just and equal nation. It laid the groundwork for future generations to continue the fight for civil rights and equality. Section 8. Total War, Scorched Earth, and the South's Agony. As the war raged on, it took on a brutal new character, total war. The South, its resources dwindling, its cities under siege, fought with the desperation of a cornered animal. General William Sherman's march to the sea cut a swathe of destruction through the heart of the Confederacy. Atlanta burned, Columbia fell. The South, once a land of grace and beauty, was scarred and broken. The human cost was immeasurable. Families torn apart, homes and livelihoods destroyed. The war had touched every life, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. Section 9. Appomattox Courthouse, The End and the Beginning, April 9, 1865, Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. General Robert E. Lee, the Confederacy's greatest general, surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant. The war was over, the Union preserved, but the victory was bittersweet. The nation lay in ruins, its people exhausted, its spirit broken. Over 600,000 soldiers had perished. Countless others bore the physical and emotional scars of war. The task ahead was daunting, to rebuild a nation shattered by conflict, to heal the wounds of division, to forge a new path forward. The future of America, once so bright with promise, was now uncertain, shrouded in the fog of war's aftermath. Section 10. Reconstruction, Picking Up the Pieces of a Nation. The Civil War had ended, but the struggle to rebuild a fractured nation was just beginning. With the guns silenced, a new battle began, Reconstruction. The South lay in ruins, its cities and farmlands devastated by years of conflict. The South, defeated and occupied, faced the daunting task of rebuilding its economy and its society. Plantations were destroyed, and the labor system that had sustained them was gone. The North, grappling with the legacy of slavery, struggled to integrate formerly enslaved people into a free society. This was a monumental challenge, requiring new laws and social structures. The period of Reconstruction was marked by hope and heartbreak, progress and setbacks. Freedmen sought education and land, while others resisted change. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution abolished slavery, laying the foundation for a new social order, granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, ensuring equal protection under the law, and guaranteed the right to vote regardless of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. These amendments were milestones in the fight for civil rights. But the road to equality was long and arduous. Freedmen faced significant obstacles, including economic hardship and social discrimination. Jim Crow laws, enforced segregation, and racial violence cast a long shadow over the South. These oppressive measures sought to undermine the progress made during Reconstruction. the dream of a truly united nation remained elusive. Despite the efforts of many, the scars of the Civil War and the deep divisions it created would take generations to heal. Section 11. The Enduring Legacy, Scars, and Triumphs. The Civil War left an indelible mark on the American landscape. Battlefields, now preserved as national parks, serve as solemn reminders of the sacrifices made. Monuments and memorials stand as testaments to the courage and resilience of those who fought and died. The war also left an enduring legacy on American identity. It settled the question of slavery, but it also exposed the deep racial divisions that continue to plague the nation. The struggle for civil rights, for equality, for justice, is a direct descendant of the Civil War and its aftermath. Section 12. Learning from the Past. Echoes of Unity and Division. The Civil War, though a distant memory, still resonates today. Its echoes can be heard in the ongoing debates about race, equality, and the role of government. It reminds us of the fragility of democracy, the importance of civil discourse, and the dangers of extremism. By studying the Civil War, we gain a deeper understanding of our own time. We see how the past continues to shape the present, and how the choices we make today will affect generations to come. The lessons of the Civil War are timeless. The importance of unity, the value of compromise, the need for empathy and understanding. Section 13. America forged anew, a nation tested, yet unbroken. The Civil War was America's crucible. It tested the nation's resolve, its character, its very soul. It was a time of unimaginable loss, but also a time of extraordinary courage, resilience, and hope. From the ashes of war, a new America emerged, a nation forever scarred by the conflict, but also forever strengthened by it. The Civil War, though a tragedy in many ways, ultimately reaffirmed the ideals of liberty and equality upon which the nation was founded. The journey through blood and unity was long and arduous, but it led to a stronger, more perfect union. The legacy of that struggle continues to inspire us today, as we strive to build a more just and equitable society for all.